The catalyst that would complete Anakin Skywalker's transformation from Jedi to Sith, the duel between Mace Windu and Palpatine, was one of the defining moments in the life of Darth Vader. Forced to make a choice between the Jedi or Sith, to give in to the fear of Padme's death or not, Anakin chose Palpatine, intervening to ensure the Sith Lord lived, and Mace was the first of many Jedi who would fall to the New Order. Although there wouldn't be time to contemplate the full extent of the duel in its immediate aftermath, following the events of Mustafar, Vader would have years to replay the events of the duel in his mind. And as we'll see, Vader not only never forgot the events that influenced his transformation, he would develop his own theories about what truly occurred during the duel in Palpatine's office. In this video expose, I will describe how Vader remembered the Mace-Palpatine duel roughly 20 years later. After almost 2 decades as Sidious's apprentice, Vader recognized that the coming completion of the Death Star would be a welcomed addition to the Imperial arsenal, seeing the rebels as more of a threat than his master did. While Vader knew there were those in the Alliance who were adequate at best, he also knew the rebellion was comprised of those who would fight to the last breath, just like the Jedi had over the years. And for Vader, there was no better example of just how hard his enemies would fight than the appearance of his master, the result of Mace Windu's desire to bring a Sith to the end and ensure the preservation of the Republic. Although Vader recognized that Palpatine was physically transformed that night almost 2 decades earlier, witnessing it with his own eyes, the Sith Lord couldn't help but formulate his own thoughts on what truly happened. Remembering the events of the duel, Vader suspected that Palpatine hadn't truly been in danger of being defeated, but rather was testing Anakin Skywalker to see if he was ready to commit himself to his cause and the cause of the Sith. I've discussed it in numerous previous videos, but I believe the evidence within the former Legends materials does strongly point to the fact that the Mace-Palpatine duel was a test for Anakin, where the Dark Lord wasn't truly in danger of being defeated or killed by Mace. And it seems that Vader couldn't help but come to this conclusion himself. Seeing the true intention of the duel as a test for Anakin, Vader was forced to accept the possibility that Palpatine was in control the entire time, and was only pretending to be placed in a vulnerable position. In this way, Vader believed that to fully test the worth of Anakin, Palpatine was willing to absorb as much of the hateful energies created by his Force lightning to make his point, even if that meant inflicting devastating injury upon himself. The evidence that pushed Vader to these conclusions wouldn't have been immediately evident to him during the duel, but given years to think over the events preceding Order 66, it isn't surprising that he would come to see the entire thing as a planned test by Palpatine. As described within the Revenge of the Sith novelization, Mace discovered that Palpatine was never afraid. The Sith Lord had no fear regarding the consequences of defeat or death, or even the intervention of Anakin. Stated another way, despite Mace appearing to have the upper hand, Palpatine wasn't worried at all, and his emotions indicated that everything was proceeding exactly as planned. This was true even as Anakin stood shoulder to shoulder with Mace, and when Palpatine was seemingly giving up and surrendering to the Jedi Master. Again, this wouldn't be clear to Vader during the duel, but over the years, Vader would have easily recognized what Mace did, allowing him to conclude it was likely the whole thing had been an elaborate test orchestrated by Palpatine. In this way, it isn't surprising that Vader focused on the fact that Palpatine was willing and not forced to absorb the malevolent energies of his Force lightning. As seen within the novel, following Anakin's intervention and Mace's death, Palpatine examined his damaged face. Rather than be horrified or pity himself for his new features, Anakin watched as Palpatine literally shrugged and simply accepted that his new appearance would serve them well. In the end, Vader recognized that Palpatine saw the damage done by his Force lightning as the price to pay to learn what he needed, and to fully test Anakin. Therefore, it's clear that by the time of A New Hope, Vader strongly suspected that the Mace and Palpatine duel that occurred years earlier was a test orchestrated by the Sith Lord to see if Anakin was ready to abandon his old allegiances to the Jedi and commit himself to the dark side. So there we have it, how Vader interpreted the Mace and Palpatine duel roughly 20 years after it happened. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter @SWReadingClub for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me, for transformations.